everybody, Tim here. Welcome back. ITIYL, I'll Talk If You'll Listen, episode 18, 18, almost at the double decade mark. I'm really excited about today's topics, as you heard in the intro, and I cannot wait to dive into the nitty gritty, so to speak. A few things though, before I do that, I want to let you guys know that I'm extremely humbled, extremely grateful to have surpassed the 700 download mark. So another milestone achieved, all thanks to you all. I really appreciate it. 700 downloads, guys. That's huge. And I'll keep saying it because it's just so amazing to me that this average Joe, this kid from Philly, can just get behind the mic and start talking, and people want to listen to what I have to say. So I think it's awesome. I think it's really, really cool. And I'm going to try more ways to not only involve you all into the show, because in part it's your show too, but I also want to come up with some more ways to thank you all for not only your support, but for also sticking around and especially for listening. And I want to emphasize that because a lot of people are under the impression that they have to listen to the show to support me. You do not have to listen to the show to support me. I want people to feel like they want to listen to the show. Like, you know, I'm saying things that are engaging, fun topics, controversial topics, things that cause you to want to listen. I don't want to ever, especially my friends who know me personally. If you're listening, you know me personally. I don't, and you know I'm being genuine when I say this, I do not want you to feel forced or obligated to have to listen to the show just because you know me. You can just a simple text saying, hey, good job, a simple like on social media, just letting me know that you appreciate the content and that you're just proud of me. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. I said this before on a super earlier episode of I'll Talk If You Listen. Just let you know, even if I had one listener, that's a success for me, because this is a hobby. This is something I do in my off time. It's something I enjoy doing. If I could do this full time, I definitely would. I love doing it. Something I'm really passionate about. And I don't care if it's 10,000 people listening or if it's just 10 people listening. So as long as I have at least one person, I'll keep talking if you'll listen. Speaking of support, I want to thank everyone involved, especially my friend Ryan. I'm going to shout him out. And my friend Lamar, I'm going to shout him out as well. For encouraging me to make the next move and make the next jump. And John too, my buddy John, who were these three people were huge. I just say cogs when it came to driving the machine of getting me to Instagram. So I'm now on Instagram, guys. I'm now on Instagram, and you can find me at Tim. So my name, Tim, Tim, _ ITIYL, ITIYL. So the initials of the show. And it's a public profile. Unlike my Facebook page, it is a public profile, just like my Twitter. Now, the reason I wanted to start an Instagram is just to kind of be more engaged with you all and just create another opportunity, another pathway of engagement to me and from me to you guys. I really love talking to you all. I really do. And if you are a personal friend of mine and you listen to the show, you would know that a lot of the topics that I talk with you all one-on-one with actually end up making the show. Part of the reason I like to think I surround myself with like-minded individuals is when I sit down and I have these talks and they're really deep and they're really comprehensive and it gets me thinking, it gets the gears turning, and I'm like, you know what? I want to talk about that on the show. So shout out to Lamar, Ryan, and John for just helping me and encouraging me to get to Instagram. And shout out to everyone who's engaged with me on Instagram so far up to this point. Shout out to everyone who's following me. And again, that's Tim _ ITIYL. Another cool thing about Instagram is it allows me to do my Instagram live videos. I know I can do it on Facebook too, but I prefer to do it on Instagram. Mainly because it's a little bit more engaging, in my opinion. Even though it's similar, it's a little bit more engaging. It seems like the audience is more willing to watch the live videos on Instagram than they are on Facebook. But also because it's a public profile. So I wanted to give you guys an opportunity and a window into my life, a window into my mind outside of just the show. And the benefit of doing live videos on a public platform is people who listen to the show who may not know me personally, who may not have a Facebook at all, can follow me on Instagram and can tune in and see another side of my life. And I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty dope. Some people view that as scary. I view that as awesome. I don't mind inviting you all into my life. If I did, I wouldn't have a public profile. It kind of cracks me up that the people who go, let's say you make a status about something that's pretty controversial, and then someone else one of your friends comments on the status, and then you have a mutual friend who responds to the person's comment on your status, even if they don't know them. Usually, if that person, if the third friend disagrees with the second friend's comment, the second friend will get really defensive and say things like, "Oh, no one asked you to comment on my status. I wasn't talking to you, blah, 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 blah." Okay, you may not have been talking to me, but no, yes, in a way you did ask me to comment on your status because your comment is public. You're commenting on your friend's status. If it was that deep, if you didn't want anyone else to know what your response was, you would have messaged your friend. "Hey, I saw your status about how microwaves are better than toaster ovens. You're crazy for that, and here's why." But no, you chose to go on that person's comment, their public comment to all of their friends. Just like you can see their comment, all of their friends can see their comment. So the moment you leave a comment on someone's page, you open yourself up to have someone who either agrees with you or disagrees with you comment on that. And if you ever notice, usually the third friend that comes along, if they agree with the second friend and say, "Hey, you're right. Toaster ovens are amazing. They're way better than microwaves." They're usually friendly, right? They usually agree like, "Oh, hey, yeah, thank you." It's only when they disagree is when the gloves come off and they want to do battle. So I don't want to sound silly like those guys where I make a public Instagram page and, people are following me and they comment and, "Hey, look, if you disagree, tell me." I encourage that. I love that back and forth. And I'm looking forward to the day where I can have someone who disagrees on the show. So that way, I can move the argument in a way that hasn't been spoken about before, whatever the topic is. And if you do disagree with me, feel free to reach out. Speaking of Ryan, I was talking to Ryan about how he had a friend listen to the show, and she disagreed with some of the topics. And her biggest critique was, I don't have people on the show who generally disagree with the topics. The irony in that is, I told Ryan, I was like, I had no idea she felt that way. You know why? Because she didn't reach out. So the same people who disagree with some of the topics, I say, the closest I get to engaging with them is when they see me in person. They'll have a topic of conversation that I mentioned, and they'll say something along the lines like, "Hey, when you said something along the lines that, microwaves are better than toaster ovens, I disagree." And they'll tell me in person, but they won't email me. So this is me talking directly to every single last person who has ever disagreed with any of the topics that I brought up on the show. Now, you got 18 episodes. I am going to put the classic episodes 1 and episodes 2, which I feel are my 2 worst episodes to date, which makes sense because they are my 2 first episodes. I'm going to put them up. So total you'll have 18 episodes, including this one, of topics. If you disagree with any of those, hit me up. Let me know, guys. You're absolutely right. I want to have people on the show who disagree with me. I really do, but they're not vocal. The people who agree, the people who have a similar mindset, those are the ones that are reaching out to me. Those are the ones that are like hitting me up and say, "Hey, no, I agree with you." The people who disagree, the people who think I'm talking out my ass, they don't hit me up. So guys, don't continue to not hit me up. Hit me up and let me know. Let me have it. Touch me. I can take it. I got thick skin, and I would love to even have you on the show. I'm all about having civil discussions and civil arguments. Now, when you start to attack my character and you're not attacking the argument anymore, that's something that I have low tolerance for. I really hate people who can't hold a debate or an argument. Or I should say, I hate it when people can't hold a debate or an argument, so they attack the person's character as opposed to attacking the argument or the ideology. So that's the only place I'll actually draw the line. But I can take it. I got thick skin. I won't get offended. I just won't have you on the show because I feel like that won't be a productive argument, and that's counterproductive to what the show's fundamentals are. Also, another way that you guys can support the show is just respond to my live videos on Instagram. I oftentimes have topics that don't make the show, so it's almost like you're getting little mini episodes of Idol. I usually record the Instagram lives. I'll leave out about 5 minutes earlier for work than I normally do, and I actually record the videos on my way walking to work, walking to the bus stop. And it's unedited, so all of the burps, all of the coughs, all of the, if I said 15 billion times, you get to hear that. You get the unedited raw version. If there's a loud car or motorcycle or vehicle going by, if I stop to speak to somebody, anything like that, you'll see that. So I think that's kind of cool to see like the raw, unfiltered video, the little mini-sode, if you will, of kind of my idle thoughts of some of the topics that don't make the show. So feel free to tune in, guys. Again, Tim_idle on Instagram. I don't care if I never saw you before. I don't care if I just met you yesterday, or I don't care if I've known you for a decade. Just follow me. I can't wait to talk to you, and message me. Don't be afraid to message me directly on Instagram. I love to bounce some ideas off of you and talk to you. And if the conversation goes well, even have you on the show. I would love to have you on the show. I think it'd be pretty cool. Another cool thing, another reason I started Instagram is to increase the traffic for the ITIYL gift card giveaway. Like I mentioned a couple of episodes ago, we surpassed 500 downloads, and to celebrate, I wanted to do the ITIYL gift card giveaway. Now, I said it would be a 2-week-long event, but I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. Not too many people have participated so far, and I want to be as fair as possible. Now, at the end of the day, if this thing has been going on for like a month and I've only had one person or 2 people or 3 people email in, and hey, whatever, those 3 people will be entered into the drawing. But I want to let all of you guys know, and I think I decided to extend it another week because I have the Instagram now, and because it'll give you all more opportunity to follow me on Instagram and DM me on Instagram. And again, here are the ways that you can participate in the ITIYL gift card giveaway. You can email me at I'll Talk If You'll Listen at hotmail.com. So it's the name of the show, I'll Talk If You'll Listen at hotmail.com. What your favorite episode is or why. And again, it doesn't have to be super intricate. It doesn't have to be super, long. You don't have to give me a novel or a memoir. You don't have to tell me every single last nuance. But I do encourage that because I love to read you guys' responses, and I love to feature some of them on the show, if even. But just email your favorite episode and why. And the example I always go back to is episode 13. But let's use episode 11, for example. When I talked about nerd culture within the Black community, you could say, hey, that was my favorite episode because I do think nerd culture within the Black community is something that's often shunned and demonized. And I think that it was cool that you talked about that. It can be something really simple like that. And bam, there you go. You got your entry into the drawing already. So you can do that on I'll Talk If You'll Listen at hotmail.com. Email me there. You can hit me up on Twitter. I still have the Twitter. I'm still active on Twitter. It's ITIYL _ITIYL on Twitter. And you can just DM me there, or you can even just tweet. Mention me in a tweet with the hashtag ITIYL gift card giveaway. And same deal. Tell me what your favorite episode is and why. You can even be lazy and just tweet the link to the episode with the hashtag ITIYL gift card giveaway, and I'll get your point. I'll say, okay, this is clearly this person's favorite episode. Episode 4, episode 9, episode 13, clearly this person's favorite episode. So you can do it that way. If you know me personally on Facebook, you can email me or you can message me on Facebook, or even just leave a comment on my wall. And I encourage that too. Feel free to go nuts. And now you got the Instagram, guys. You can email me. I keep saying email. See, I got an old soul. You can DM me on Instagram. Your favorite episode is and why, or you can just post it on Instagram with the hashtag ITIYL gift card giveaway. I'll search it, I'll find it, and I'll read it. You can just go to your notes, the default or stock notes tab on your phone or app on your phone. Just type out your favorite episode is why and why, screen cap it, post it on Instagram. Bam, there you go. Or do you want better? Just like on Twitter, you can be even lazier and just screenshot the episode on the podcast app that you use to listen to. So if you're listening on iTunes, you're listening on Google Play, Stitcher, Spreaker, just screen cap it. Screen cap the episode and then post it to Instagram with the hashtag ITIYL gift card giveaway. And again, I'll get the message and I'll go, okay, clearly this is this person's favorite episode. So I really want you guys to participate. I hope you can see that I'm really genuine and wanting you to participate. I'm trying to think of some really awesome and creative ways for you to participate. So guys, please participate. This gift card isn't for me. If anything, it's taking money out of my pocket, but I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to do it. If you're listening if you're a new listener, if episode 17 was your first episode you ever listened to, or you've been listening since episode 1, hear it in my voice. I want to give you this gift card. Stop what you're doing right now and participate, please. I want to give you this gift card to show you how appreciative I am, how grateful I am for your support. I really, really do. Speaking of support, so I came up with some new ideas with the YouTube page. I'm going to take all of those videos that I record on Instagram Live, and I'm actually going to post them to the YouTube page. So if you don't get a chance to view it on Instagram Live, or if you're not my friend on Facebook, because I do post them on my Facebook page as well, you'll get a chance to go on the YouTube page and view it and watch it and leave a comment and leave your thoughts real time. And guys, I respond to comments. I do. Luckily, I'm not this huge Jimmy Fallon or Chris Rock or somebody really, really famous where I can't respond to the millions and millions of comments. Luckily, I'm just this average Joe who can respond to, at most, I'll probably just get a couple dozen comments. I can respond directly to the comments. Even when I do the Instagram live video and people tune into the live video, I can comment directly to the people joining the live video. And I think that's so cool. That's why I am savoring these moments, guys. I'm really passionate. I feel like this will take off, but I'm savoring these moments because I get to interact and engage with the audience on a more intimate level because I don't have to worry about thousands of comments to sift through. So I'm really looking forward to hearing from you all on YouTube, you commenting and looking at the videos. And don't worry, I'll still post the episodes up there as well. I know I've been slacking, guys, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm going to put it up there. Trust me. And one final way to support, guys, and then I promise I'll get into the show's topics. I know it's at the point now where you're like, come on, Tim. But I am going to start a Patreon, and I've been talking with some friends, and I've been looking at a ton of YouTube videos on how to perfect my craft. If you're passionate about something, use this as advice. Go to YouTube, go to Google, use your friends, perfect your craft, because odds are you know somebody who knows how to do something you want to do. And if you don't, that person knows somebody who knows somebody, or knows somebody who watches somebody do something that you know how to do or want to do even better than you currently know how to do it. So I've been looking at some videos surrounding Patreon, and I got some pretty cool ideas on how to reward you guys for your support. So I am going to start a Patreon. I'm going to do that over this weekend. So I encourage you all to on Monday, which I believe is, let's see, today's the 21st, Friday's the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th. Monday the 25th, the Patreon page should be up. So go and check that out. It may even be up over the weekend, so go feel free to check that out over the weekend, but it should definitely be up by Monday. So I appreciate all the support, guys. And I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek to what my first goal is. My first goal is a new microphone. So I want to get a new Blue Yeti Snowball microphone. You guys have heard me talk about that before in the past. I found a good deal on Groupon for $60. I could get one for $60, and I believe this is an $80 mic. So I can get it on Groupon for $60. So that's my first goal. You heard it here first. And hopefully with you guys' support, I'll be able to get that microphone and give you guys some better sounding quality when it comes to the podcast and even the YouTube pages if and when I decide to do some vlogs. So I can't wait to launch that, and keep an eye out for that. So without further ado, guys, just diving into the topics for today. So last week, I'm sure you guys are aware of the whole sexual misconduct allegation, sexual assault allegation that Jamie Foxx had. And I wasn't going to talk about this because it was like another one bites the dust, right? Like every week, every day, seems like some big wig celebrity, some famous person is talking about Jamie Foxx or some other celebrity about some sexual misconduct. And it's like, come on, when are we going to, on one end, and I want to be very clear, I'm very happy that some certain scumbags are being brought to light. Some of their actions are reprehensible, and I'm really glad that, they're being exposed. But on the other end, it's like, obviously you're going to have some people out there who want to take advantage of this situation, and they're going to put really good men on a chopping block. And the final verdict in Jamie's situation hasn't come out yet, or at least it hasn't come out at the time of this recording, or even more specifically, I haven't seen the verdict yet. But, you have another young lady who accused a celebrity of sexual misconduct, this time around Jamie Foxx. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of background, and I'm going to give you how ridiculous it seems. I don't want to say it's ridiculous and then it turns out to be true, because then I have egg on my face. But I do want to say here how ridiculous it seems. I'm not afraid to say that. It seems ridiculous. So way back in 2002, there was this young lady went over Jamie Foxx's house in the Las Vegas area and claims that she was sexually assaulted because Jamie slapped her in the face with his penis. And there's a few things I want to go over here, how ridiculous this sounds, okay? But I'm going to finish the story. So the very next day, when she's home in LA, yes, from Vegas to LA, the very next day, she goes to the hospital and claims that she had, like an anxiety attack, a panic attack. So she admitted herself to the hospital for that. Here's the deal, okay? This is how ridiculous this sounds to me. First and foremost, you have to be in a certain physical position to be susceptible to a penis slap to the face, okay? Either Jamie had some sort of crazy miracle back in 2002 where he grew incredibly tall, or he was standing on some furniture and for whatever reason was having, instead of a face-to-face, a penis-to-face conversation with this young lady, and he inadvertently slapped her with his penis. Or, I don't know, let's say the more likely situation where this young lady was, I don't know, let's just say her face was at waist level, and maybe she was on her knees or some sort of position that required her face to be at his penis, and that happened. So let's say, in fact, this did happen. As ridiculous as this sounds, let's say it did happen. You have to see the penis slap coming. Like, the penis slap does not happen by surprise. It's not like, hey, do you want a bottle of water? Yeah, I'll take the bottle of water. Oh no, your penis is coming at me. There's nothing I can do about it. No, you see a penis slap coming because you have to be at penis level to get slapped. I'm sure a lot of people listening have been at penis level before, or have had someone at your penis level. Someone was at penis level in your life before. Or you've been at penis level in your life before. The penis is not a formidable weapon. Well, depending on the situation, if you know what I mean. But generally speaking, the penis is not a formidable weapon. Like, this is not a weapon of mass destruction. You can see quite, well, no, that'd be too easy of a pun to say you can see it coming, right? So I'll just say you'll notice when the penis is about to slap you, right? So definitely something. I'll say it. Definitely something you can see coming, literally and figuratively. So I think it's such a ridiculous claim. How about you say something like, Jamie fondled you, or Jamie grabbed your breasts, or Jamie, made unwanted advances towards you. That's more believable than being slapped in the face with a penis, because that implies that it was consensual for you to even be in that position in the first place. Did he hold you down and slap you with his penis? I mean, it just seems like unrealistic, like it didn't happen, right? But nevertheless, she made this claim. Jamie and his lawyer said, like, hey, we didn't even know about this until it came to our attention, because it never happened. And one thing that I'm happy about is Jamie said he's pursuing legal action against her for filing a false claim. And I like that, because, if you really didn't do something, you're going to, get up on the mountain and shout it from the rafters, like, hey, look, I didn't do this thing, and you want to clear your name. And so I really like the fact that Jamie's doing this, because far too often we have, women who actually do go through something. And when you have women out here, knuckleheads out there who make false claims like this, it takes away from the fight. It takes away from the cause. Imagine what you're doing to a woman who actually did get, raped, or actually did get molested, or actually did get sexually abused. Imagine what you're doing to her fight, whether she came out and admitted it or not. Imagine what you're doing with other women to other women in the workplace who are being sexually abused in the workplace, and you, just because you didn't get what you want from Jamie Foxx, or just because you didn't get what you want from some other famous person, you're going to go out and make this announcement just to get your 15 minutes of fame. You're hurting the situation more than you think you're helping it. And by all means, if Jamie did this thing and he did it, and one, I would say, how do you slap somebody with your penis? But whatever. If Jamie actually did do this thing, then by all means, absolutely, he should deal with the consequences. But if he didn't, come on now, really. And it kind of raised the question to me, like, And I want you guys' opinion on this. One, are men easier targets when it comes to sexual misconduct and sexual assault allegations? I believe that they currently are. And what I mean by that is, take it in a workplace. If a woman accused me of sexual misconduct or sexual assault, I would like to think that my reputation will help fight that false accusation. And the people who I work with and work for will see, like, hey, we feel as though this is unlikely. Of course, we're going to conduct an investigation, but I hope it's just not 0 to 100. And next thing you know, I'm getting a severance package and I'm sick. Well, actually, that'd be kind of cool, right? I can come home and do this full time. But by no means do I want a sexual misconduct or sexual allegations stain on my record. You know what I mean? I'm at a situation where I can't do this full time. I'm going to need to work. I got bills I got to pay. As much as you guys support me, you can't give me $700 a month for my rent. You can't give me, over $100 a month for my cell phone bill. You can't give me over $100 a month for my internet bill. I mean, if I do get to that point, great, amazing, awesome. But odds are it's not going to happen. So I would hate to have that stain on my reputation because it's going to follow me around for the rest of my career. For the lifespan of my career, my professional career. And even on an off sense like this, like let's say you guys found out like, oh, Tim was accused of sexual misconduct. For those of you guys who know me personally, absolutely, you still listen because it's probably not true. But for the people who don't know me that well, people who maybe just started listening to episode 17, 16, 15, they came across me on an internet search on YouTube. They don't know anything about me. They found out let's say I get up here and admit that I was accused of sexual misconduct. That might hit a string for you. You might stop listening. And that's my point. Like with very, very little investigation, a man's reputation could be ruined. They could get let go from their job. They could get a severance package from their job, and then they're not employed anymore. They could get jail time, the whole nine. They could get endorsement deals revoked, sponsorships revoked, off of a claim. I want to get you guys to see how powerful that is, off of a claim. Someone just saying something could remove money out of this man's pocket. Whether he did it or not, could remove money out of this man's pocket. However, if a man turns around and accuses a woman, it's almost not taken seriously at all. How many, even as men, like think about it, guys, like fellas, I'm talking to the fellas right now. If you heard that one of your friends was sexually assaulted by a woman, you would probably laugh, wouldn't you? You would go, oh, come on, you let her do this to you, whether it be from the angle that she's weaker than you, so you shouldn't let it happen, or be from the angle that like, hey, there's this misconception out there that men are dogs and all we want is sex and we'll never turn it down. So how can a woman sexually assault you because, you always want sex. You're a man. How can a woman sexually assault you? Right. So it won't get taken seriously. It'll be shown in a different light, right? So women aren't easy targets when it comes to sexual misconduct, even if it did happen. The only time it's really taken seriously is if it's a woman on another woman, but not if it's a woman on a man. It'll be like, come on, dude, you let her pin you down, you let her tie you up, like whatever. It's not even taken seriously. And you don't really hear as many sexual misconduct or sexual assault allegations directed towards women like you do here for men. Now, one will argue because men are slobs and men are knuckleheads, so they're more likely to do it because they feel like they can get away with it, and they've been getting away with it for years. But one will always argue like, well, hey, one could say the same thing about women. Some women who do sexually assault men. There are a ton of women in power. There are way more women in power now than there have ever been. And I'm talking management roles, supervisory roles, executive roles. How do you not know that some of their direct reports who are men are being abused by them because maybe they're treating or behaving around them inappropriately, and because they're in a leadership or executive position, the man is intimidated or is afraid to say something out of fear of losing their job? You won't know. Just like we didn't know for years men were doing these things, you don't know if women are currently doing these things. Even if it's a minority, it's still happening. And that's the whole point of the Me Too movement, right? To shed light on stuff like this. So I want to get you guys' opinion. Like, are men easier targets? Are men easier targets for this thing that's happening? And are the women out here who are knuckleheads, are they attacking the men because it's easier for them? It kind of bothers me when, an investigation happens and it's discovered that, hey, no, there's no evidence of sexual misconduct, and it kind of just gets swept under the rug. Nothing happens to the woman. So kudos to Jamie for taking legal action, for if this does indeed turn out to be a false claim. Kudos to Jamie. I really hope that, this young woman is held accountable if this does indeed turn out to be a false claim. I really, really, really do. And again, I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. Feel free, reach out to me, let me know. Another thing that I wanted to talk about false claims and exaggerated claims. I wanted to talk about the race card, specifically with people of color. And I want to get you guys' opinion. Do you think it gets pulled far too often and far too conveniently and easily in situations that don't really need much attention in that area? So last week, Meghan Markle, the new wife of Prince Harry, along with the rest of the family, the rest of the royal family, did their traditional walk out on a balcony picture. I don't know what it's called. I'm sure it's not called the walk out on the balcony picture. But it's the picture that they go out on the balcony and, they let the world see them. And, a bunch of people are taking pictures, seeing new additions to the family. It happens with kids. It happens with, husbands or wives. It happens. Now, in this picture, Meghan was shown to be in the back. And there was some outrage in certain communities about how it's racist. And this puts on display the racist undertone of the royal family and the racist behavior of Queen Elizabeth, and how, because Meghan Markle is biracial and is black, has some black in her, in her genetic makeup, she is, towards the back. So it's racist, right? After doing more research, because I didn't want to be that guy or girl who spreads false information, if I can help it anyway. I did some research, and it turns out no, there's a pecking order. There's a hierarchy to these things. If you are the newest addition to the family, or if you're a younger member of the family, you're positioned in the back out of respect to the more senior members or the people who have been a part of their family for a longer time, or the older members of the family. That's why Queen Elizabeth and her husband was shown up to be up front. That's why, Prince William was shown to be up front with his family. So it's not a race thing. And it got me kind of like rolling my eyes, because it takes talk about, women making false accusations about sexual misconduct hurting the Me Too movement. This is hurting the, racial awareness movement that certain black activist groups are trying to shed light on. When there's people out here who are crying wolf and they're constantly saying, oh, something's racist, something's racist, something's racist, when it's really not. It kind of, it's like, hey, what are you doing? What are you talking about? And it kind of takes away from the bigger picture. And it's like, you just see what you want to see. And if you had took the time to do more research as to why that was, you would have saw that there's a pecking order to things and it had nothing to do with race. And it's really annoying, and it kind of got to thinking like, hey, do we, as people of color, do we pull the race card far too often? And why do we do that? And if you're friends with someone who does that, what do you say to them? Do you say, hey, no, dude, wake up, smell a coffee? Or is it like, yeah, or do you agree with them? Oh yeah, it's definitely about race. Do you step in and let them know like, hey, look, it could have been about race. It may not have been about race. How about you do some research? So, I think we as friends, we have some obligations there to definitely jump in and hold our friends more accountable for the information that they're putting out in the world, because usually the people outside of our race, whether we're black and we're talking to white people, or we're Asian and we're talking to Hispanics, or we're Indian, which is also Asian, but, subcontinent there, India, whether you're Indian and you're talking to someone from like Australia, you need to say like, hey, this isn't the norm. Like, this is a one-off. This one person feels this way. We all don't feel this way. It's up to us to kind of like shed light on the opinion. And I reached out to one of my friends by the name of Jacob for this segment of Idle Thoughts to get his opinion on both the topics, to get his opinion on, are men easy targets, and if, when it comes to sexual misconduct, and, what that does to the bigger picture. And I also asked his opinion on the whole Meghan Markle, race card situation. So here's Jacob. Here's some of what he had to say on this week's segment of Idle Thoughts regarding Jamie Foxx and the sexual misconduct.
Now, definitely not to discredit the Me Too movement or the genuine allegations of the Me Too movement, because there are men who do abuse power, and that definitely does need to be addressed. But I do feel like right now it's a huge lane opening up for people who are like taking advantage of this. Like, hey, I had an interaction with a celebrity a few years ago. You know what? He treated me inappropriately. Oh, now I'm all over the internet telling everybody about it. They do more research into it. It never really happened. So, I mean, that lane opened up. But yeah, when it comes down to it, I think right now they're definitely taking advantage of the men in the situation. Because for some odd reason, society sees us men as like carnal beings, like we're just ready for sex, even if our partner is willing or unwilling. But yeah, I think right now it's like vultures are coming out of the woodworks. They're like, hey, I see something, I want to go for it and try to get it.
Unique perspective there from Jacob. Thanks for sharing. He also shed a little bit of light on when things like this happen, how it's viewed. Again, here's Jacob.
I'm trying to be cautious of how long my answers are. So.
You're okay, man. Here, I'll ask a follow-up question for you. And don't worry, the editing game is on the bean, as they say in Philly. So, don't worry about it if you want to. So here, I'll ask a follow-up question for you. Maybe you can expand on it. It's not to say that, some men aren't dogs. Some men are jerks. Some men deserve everything that's coming to them. Take Bill Cosby, for example. But I think that other men, just have a walking target on their back just because of the gender that they are, just because of the sheer fact that they're a man, and they're kind of walking on eggshells. What would you say to some of the guys who feel like they're targets or they have to walk around on eggshells because of the whole Me Too movement and potentially being accused of sexual misconduct?
Honestly, what I would say to those men, because I feel like I'm not. I walk around the eggshell just like as a typical person. But one thing is that why I don't worry about situations like this coming up is because I feel like I'm a genuine person. So I feel like what's happening or what I do, like if you interpret it wrong, then maybe we could discuss it. So like those men as well who are walking on eggshells or worried about something like this happening to them, I would say as long as you're a genuine person in your actions and you're a genuine good person, I feel like typically you shouldn't really worry about it. I don't worry about it personally because I know my actions are normally genuine. I'm normally a good person in most situations. So whatever happens, I'm really prepared for it because I don't put that much negativity out into the universe or just into situations that I feel like I'll get that negativity back. However, I did end up in a situation where I was in court with false accusations placed against me. So, I mean, but that was back in the day. But even then I came out with nothing on my name, nothing on my record. I didn't do anything. It was completely false. Granted, in court, which one thing I would like, that's probably one thing you should speak on. Well, I don't know, maybe you can talk about it, but that's one thing you probably can speak on later. In court, as soon as I got there, because I was a man, I was automatically looked at as the aggressor. It was like, yeah, you're the aggressor here. Like the judge automatically, her whole attitude was, this guy's the aggressor here. Like I didn't even say nothing while the plaintiff was testifying. I'm sitting there, I had my elbow on the desk, not thinking about how I was sitting. Not thinking about my posture because I just came back from work, like 12-hour shift. And she just automatically was like, what did she say? That's right. She's like, she paused the plaintiff. She's like, excuse me, one second. She's like, you look like you don't want to be here. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And then she said, stop talking. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And she's like, you look like you don't want to be here. And I had said, oh, I'm sorry by accident. And I said it again. And she said, stop talking. I was like, okay. And I was like, okay, I'm just sitting there. And then again, something happened. I looked towards the plate and there was something, and she just kept accosting me. And I was like, what? I was like, okay, I'm just gonna stop talking. I'm not saying nothing to this lady until she says, absolutely, hey sir, can you talk to me please? So, I mean, that's one thing I would say. Avoid, I'll say just continue to be you, be yourself, but also just consider of the boundaries or what repercussions can happen if you're not doing anything inappropriate, if you're being genuine and being yourself. So, I mean, that's pretty much the best thing I could say in that situation. Be genuine, be yourself. You shouldn't have to worry about walking around on eggshells.
Good stuff there from Jacob. Jacob also shed some light on the whole race car thing and how he feels about it, and if he believes if it's getting pulled too frequently, and what it does to the bigger fight. Here's more of what Jacob had to say.
Man, come on. My people, I love y'all. There's definitely a real fight that we have to do against injustice, racism. That's definitely a real fight, but come on. We play that card too much. Like, I know people I might hear some crazy stuff back about this or whatever, but we need to have that only played in serious situations where we have so many, we have enough amounting evidence to say, hey, this was race. Because the whole Meghan Markle thing, like you said, people not realizing, oh, it's actually a hierarchy. There's an order to things that they have to do, and they like it's just an order. She barely even. I know that, all right, this might be too much, but she barely looks black. I'm just saying it. I throw that out there. She barely looks like. I looked at some of her pictures when she was younger. I was like, what? And that's part. The Prince probably was like, hey, this is a nice young white woman. How you doing? And he's like, oh, you black? That's cool. All right. But there's a real fight that we need, and we need when we have cases. It hurts us. It's like false rape. It's like false rape allegations. It hurts the cause. Because like anybody who's out here faking, and then they get caught with these, they get caught in their lies, it hurts. And now people gonna start looking like, hey, you know what? That could just be a bunch of bullcrap. Like last time, remember when somebody did this and so did that? It hurts the cause. These false race accusations, there you go, false racism accusations hurt the race war. So like, we still have a lot of stuff that we have to fight. We still have certain injustices, certain perceptions, paradigms, and prejudices that we have to fight. But like the amount that people use, oh, you gave me my food late at McDonald's because you racist and I'm black. Okay, what evidence do you have to support this, sir? I'm here and you took long to get my food and I'm black. Okay, well there's other customers here and they're getting their food late too, and there's white customers over there. Everybody getting their food late. It's McDonald's. So we really have to. We got to tighten up. Like I rarely pull. I like to get enough evidence to support something when it's racial right now. I like to get enough evidence to support it. So like even on my timeline 2 weeks ago, I shared something about a young boy who they said he stole it on the timeline. The post said he stole a pair of Jordans and he's getting like federal time in prison. Like he's getting some time in prison, some actual time. And then there was a white guy who's accused of being a racist, and he's not getting any time. And they're like, okay, so how's this white guy not getting time, but this boy's already going to jail? I knew about the white guy because I read about his, as soon as I seen that he wasn't going to jail for rape, I read what's going on. He's actually a rich guy, a wealthy guy, and these allegations popped up with a little bit of evidence. So there's like no evidence, it's just allegations, so people label him as a rapist. So I understand, there's a little evidence, so he's not in jail. I understand, okay, there's not enough evidence. And he's a rich guy, so people would try to sue him for stuff. Okay, so I know about that white guy. Then the kid, I didn't do too much research, but I saw this. I'm like, dang, that's crazy. Why is he going to jail? And I've reposted it. So I posted it. Then somebody posted on my status said, okay, people forget to mention the young boy had a gun on him. The teenage boy had a gun. So that changes the whole thing. Like somebody left that out to fit their narrative. So I'm reposting it looking stupid because this boy had a gun. He needed to go to jail. You robbed somebody. Okay, you stole a pair of Jordans. I wouldn't say you need to do a bunch of jail time and you're a young teen, but that's a repercussion. That's a possibility. He knew the risk when he took that. But anyway, so I'm distracted. I digress. So coming back, yes, we need to we pull the race card too much, in my opinion. I feel as though We need to use it in the most sincere moments when we have enough evidence, when we have just a solid case. Like if you can't prove it to yourself, if you feel like you can't prove this to say you have an opponent or somebody who constantly debates you. If you can't prove it to them in a debate, I don't feel like you should be saying this is racism. That might be a little too harsh, but we need to strengthen the guidelines for what we're going to say is racism or what's not racism. So I feel like we play the card too much. False racist allegations hurt the cause, and we need to better develop a system of what we're going to classify as racist.
So Jacobs has been a supporter since day one, and although he hasn't been listening since day one, he has been a supporter since day one, and he gave some ideas and some thoughts on some topics that he'd like to hear in the future.
But the first thing that came to my mind, like if I was to have a show and I wanted to talk about, in the environment that I'm in, I don't know you can tell me what your idea or your opinions are about this. People who exhibit homophobia, is that an insecurity in their mind? And then the next one would be, is sexuality permanent? But yeah, that's another idea that I was thinking about. But I mean, I don't know if you want to address those topics.
Hey, Jacob, thank you so much, man. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting me. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to not only you hearing, this episode, but I look forward to talking with you in the future about similar topics. I can't wait to dive in. So there's that. And if you want to be like Jacob, if you want to be featured on the show, if you want to have your thoughts featured on the Idle Thoughts segment, feel free to hit me up. I'll talk if you'll listen at hotmail.com, or you can DM me on the various media outlets there. Tim_idle on Instagram, ITIYL _ITIYL on Twitter. Or if you know me personally, just hit me up, let me know, and we can get something started. We can get something arranged. So looking forward to that. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk to you all about, and I'll make this brief because I got to get going, got to get ready for work. But the last thing I wanted to talk to you all about was the recent death of rapper, and I hope it pronounces his name right, xXxTentacion. So he was recently killed this week with some gunfire in Florida, and he was shot and killed. And it's tragic to lose anybody, especially due to violence. I would love to live in a world where we all died of natural causes. I think that would be dope. It's less tragic that way. Never want to lose anyone to violence. My father personally was gunned down in the street. He was a victim of violence, and I lost him at 11 years old due to gun violence. So not a huge fan of people dying due to violence. Unless it's necessary. You know what I mean? Like you're defending yourself. You really do feel like your life or someone that you care about, their life is in danger. That's different. That's a different argument for a different day. But I wanted to say something. I think it's never good when someone dies. I think the only time it can be remotely justifiable when someone passes away is when it's at an individual level. And what I mean by that is, let's say I was, robbed or sexually assaulted, and I knew the person was still out there living, and then I found out that he died. I'm going to be relieved that he died because now I don't have to live in fear anymore, and that my family doesn't have to live in fear anymore. If I lived in a home and my home got broken into, and, now my family and my kids were living in fear because, this could happen again, and then I found out the person died. It's the same thing. It's almost like if that person got imprisoned. It's a sense of relief. You feel happy. So I'm sure to all of the people that xXxTentacion did wrong or mistreated in the past, I'm sure they feel some level. If they lived in fear, I'm sure they have some level of relief, knowing that they don't have to live in that fear anymore. But for all of you out there who don't know this man, who don't know this young man, and you're sitting there saying how you're glad that he's dead, I think it's just so stupid. And it's just, you lack humanity. because you're sitting here saying to somebody you don't know, you're only going off of stuff that you read on the internet. And then it's being cherry picked, right? The information that you're reading is like filtered information. You weren't there. You don't know. Like my buddy told me that the story about him assaulting his pregnant girlfriend at the time was actually a false claim by her, because she actually lied about her pregnancy. She wasn't pregnant, and she just lied to get money out of him. Now, I don't know how true that is. Again, I wasn't there. I don't know how accurate the story is, but I want to go ahead and sit to say, who am I to judge a man that I don't know? I don't know him. I can only read information that comes out and make a judgment call for that. But for you to sit here and say you're glad that he died and you don't even know him, that's crazy to me. So I want to get you guys' thoughts out there for, if you do feel like you're glad that he's not living anymore, you're glad that someone like him is gone. Tell me why. And tell me why you think it's okay to be glad that another human lost their life to violence. Tell me why that's okay. And I also want to hear from the people who think that's ridiculous. I want to hear from the people who feel like it takes a special kind of person to be glad that someone is dead. I think that person is less human than even the person that died. If you're glad, think about it, that's crazy for me to even say. It feels weird even saying out my mouth, I'm glad this person died. Like, are you really? I think the people who say that don't understand the gravity of what they're saying. Almost like when we're really hungry and we say we're starving, right? When we say things, oh, I'm starving. Are you really? You're not starving. You probably have never starved a day in your life, but you're just saying like, oh, you're starving. I don't think you understand the gravity of what you're saying. Same deal. I think the people who are saying, oh, I'm glad he's dead, I don't think they understand the gravity of what they're saying. I saw this really powerful post that said, if Malcolm X had died when he was 20, he would have been labeled a thief, a delinquent, a violent person. If, I forget who it was. I think it was Harriet Tubman or Rosa Parks. I forget who it was. If they died when they were 20, same deal, you got to give somebody the opportunity to change, and who's to say if, xXxTentacion would have lived another 20 years, the impact he would have had on his community, the impact he would have had in our country, who knows? And, by no means am I condoning anything negative that he's done. All I'm saying is it takes a special kind of person to say that they're glad someone died. I think that's ridiculous. So feel free to reach out, guys. I can't wait to hear from all of you in person and on the interwebs. I love to hear what you guys have to say about the show's topics, and I'm really looking forward to hearing from you all. So again, that's Tim_idol on Instagram, idol _idol on Twitter. And I'll talk if you'll listen at hotmail.com. Hit me up, hit my jack, slide in my DM, as the kids say. I can't wait to talk to you all. In the meantime, everyone, I'll see you all in person. I'll see you all on the internet. And as always, I'll keep talking if you'll listen. Take care.